going live today. Look, you're in the kitchen of a actual raw vegan. What have we got? Citrus, lettuce, avo, apple. But this is something I never usually do. Oh, there's Eva. Hello Eva, you want to join or request to join? I never usually do this. What is it? Chickpea sprouts. I'm doing that to a vegan bundle available now. Hello everyone, thank you for joining Adela's Raw Food. Thank you for joining. Feel free to stick with us, and we're joined by Fruity Eva, also known as Eva Buchman, I believe, from Germany, sometimes in the Tenerife or Canary Islands. And I want to say, Eva, you've been a very kind supporter of stuff that I've put out, videos that I've made. I really appreciate your support, and you've been at our Fruity Fridays, you've come to the festival before. So, really cool, thank you a lot. And I love to see that you are also getting your message out more, and you're part of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle as well, so that's really cool. Hello Abigail in the comments, thanks for joining us. You know Eva.
Yes, and thank you so much. I would love to support you more because I'm a huge fan of your YouTube channel, and I love what you do with the UK Fruit Festival because I know that it brings so much value to so many people. So big fan, and yes.
Thank you so much, Eva. I really appreciate that, and you know, you've also offered a lot of good feedback and comments and things, so I like that. So my book was about, this in the bundle is about myths, so I've been asking people a little bit about myths, and would you like to start with a myth that you think about the raw vegan diet, so something that you don't think is true or real, something that gets spread around, maybe something you believed in at one point and it's just not, you just found out that it's not exactly right, maybe? Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, for sure. I love that question. So when I didn't know, like when I didn't start a fruit-based diet yet, I was actually thinking that fruitarians, and I didn't even know about the raw vegan diets. I was just thinking people who eat raw food are fruitarians, and they live in caves, and they're like super hippie, and they don't work a normal job, and they just eat fruit that falls from the trees. So I was actually super scared. Like I was already vegan, but I was really eating lots of like legumes and vegetable and all of that because I was just super scared because there's so many myths about a fruit-based diet. So yeah, I think for me the greatest myth about a fruit-based diet or vegan diet is that it's not compatible with your work, with your university, or with your day-to-day life. So you cannot eat that way when you are a normal person. And now doing that for a couple of years, actually, it is super possible. Like you have to plan a little bit more, you have to maybe structure your day a little bit different, but it's definitely like you can implement it into your day-to-day life, and it will actually give you so much more happiness and energy, and it will make your day-to-day life so much better. So that was definitely the biggest myth that I experienced.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think that that's a really funny one, a really interesting one. Like there's been, I remember there's a film called Notting Hill, and it's one of the few films out there where the, you know, someone who is a fruitarian is mentioned in the film. I don't know if anyone's seen the film Notting Hill, but they're at a dinner party and someone says, "Oh, I'm a fruitarian," and they say, "What does that mean?" And they say, "I only eat like," or she says she knows a fruitarian or something or whatever it is, and she only eats fruit. She only eats fruit that's fallen off the tree, you know, and that's a kind of myth, like that there's these fruitarians that only eat fruit that's fallen off the tree. Like this, it's not possible for anyone to do that. Like, how would you even know if the fruit is fallen off the tree or whatever? Um, but yeah, and I guess the idea that fruitarian is sort of, and is someone that's kind of like eating only fruit to avoid like harm on the trees and things. And I think there is a little bit of that. There is a bit of that. But yeah, there are some hippies out there for sure. There are people that are sort of hippies. But I've actually found that, like, I think this lifestyle requires actually that if you just try and be a hippie, like it doesn't quite work, because I think you can't just be floating around and, you know, you can kind of do that maybe at a festival and things like that when the food's all there. But actually, raw vegans tend to be a little bit organized. You have to be organized in advance. You have to be going and getting your food. You know, you have to be planning it. You have to, you know, have the discipline to change your diet and stuff like that. And that's not always in line with just being a hippie. And also the idea that hippies often maybe want to take the drugs. I think the kind of hippie thing is they're more into like the cleansing, the fasting, the trying all that stuff out, the juice thing, but actually committing to this long term. The people that are more long term in this, they have a bit of a hippie tendency, but they also have quite a serious side to them as well, I think.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I also believe that it comes down to your mindset. So it really depends on you, on your mindset, and wherever you live. Or, yeah, I would say in most countries, maybe if you live in a really, really tiny village in Siberia, whatever, okay, maybe. But in most countries, like Sweden, Germany, it is definitely possible to go raw. And I agree so much with you that for me at least, it took a lot of like learning, patience. You have to structure your day in a different way. So definitely, I think that but on the other side, I definitely think there's a little bit truth in that myth because I think a lot of people realize when they start to eat more fruit-based, they change a lot. So some of them, they maybe had a super busy job before, and then they eat fruit-based for a couple of years, and they start to crave maybe more nature or to have a more chill job. So I think that's interesting that when you change your diet and when you start to eat fruit-based or raw vegan, that you really change also as a person, as a character. So yeah, I think, but I just want to share like with the people that it's possible. And if you have children or you go to university, I mean, I started eating fruit-based when I was still in school. So school, university, it's definitely possible. And I would
Mm.
recommend for everyone to just start where you are, even if the circumstances are not really that good, because you just learn so much by doing it.
Yeah, and you've spent a lot of time in Tenerife or in the Canaries, maybe not Tenerife, but in the Canaries for sure. Teach us, maybe tell us a little bit about going there, because I think that's an ideal place for people that are in Europe, maybe looking for a time away in a tropical place. Like it's not too far away, I believe. It's similar time zone, um, and you know, there's probably more people that are speaking European languages there. Maybe let tell me a little bit about that place and why you liked sort of staying there.
For sure, I will do that. I will just close the window because my
Okay.
neighbors are loud. 1 second.
Your neighbors are watching.
No, they're so loud. Like I have like my neighbors are Italians and I love Italian people, but they speak really loud. So I think now it's more quiet. Yeah, but I would love to talk about the Canary Islands because I'm a huge fan. Like, I love to be here. And I was always, since going fruit-based, I was always searching for places that are more optimal because I'm not a winter person. And for me, eating a fruit-based diet, it just like I don't know, I just feel that I feel my best in a warm climate. So I was just searching, and I think in Europe, the Canary Islands are an amazing place because they're part of the European Union. So it's super easy if you're habitant of the European Union. You don't need a visa or anything, and yeah, and it's just a lot more simple. It's just for Germany, it's just 1 hour time difference, but we are in the same time zone as London. So it's super simple, and the culture is more like chilled. I would say it's more like Latin American culture, but definitely because so many people from Europe, especially like Sweden, Norway, Germany, and the UK, came many years ago to the Canary Islands to escape the winter, and now they live there. So it's really a mix of different cultures. Like you have European culture, South American culture, and you also have some influences from Africa because some people from Africa, Morocco go to the Canary Islands. So it's really a mix of different cultures. And I think that's super fascinating. And the fruit, actually, I can say, is much better than in Germany. I mean, it makes sense because you can grow the fruit here. I like I think the variety is the same as in Germany because Germany imports from Spain, and the Canary Islands, they grow a lot of fruit, but a lot they also import from Spain. So you can get apples, oranges, you can get cucumbers. So basically everything that you can get in the UK, you can get here. But I would say if you compare the quality of fruit, it's definitely better here during the winter time because they on the Canary Islands they grow papaya and they grow banana and they grow avocado and tomato, and that's just super nice. And the fruit is not organic, but for me it just feels organic. And I think that a lot of people, they just don't want to buy, a lot of farmers, they don't want to buy the organic stamp, but still the food is really, really, really good. So I'm a huge fan for sure.
Let me know about your contribution to the bundle. What's your book about, and why did you write it?
Great question. So I wrote raw vegan recipes, simple and delicious raw vegan recipes, and it's a book for beginners because I have a lot of people in my comments that ask me, yes, how they do have simple recipes for a fruit-based diet, and I was before I was no, and now I have them, and I'm pretty happy about it because I want to show people that it's possible to eat raw vegan or fruit-based even though you don't have much equipment, if you don't have a dehydrator or a food processor, or you have all of those superfoods. Like my ebook is really simple recipes for people who just want to get started. And for me, it's actually the way that I was eating 4.5 years before I got a dehydrator. So it's really simple recipes, but my favorite recipes that really got me over the 4.5 years. So really simple, delicious. You can get them if you live in the UK or in Europe. And it's also, a lot of recipes are quite cheap because the basis is very often banana. So definitely super affordable as well.
Really awesome, yeah. And why do you think recipe books are important when you're changing to this kind of lifestyle?
I love that. I think because in the end, I think in the beginning I was eating super, super, super basic, so most of the time mono meals. But after some time, especially if you go to family reunions or you meet with friends, or maybe you see your family eating junk food and you just eat maybe a mono meal, after some time you might crave like a more extravagant recipe. And or sometimes, for example, if you love cooking and then you go fruit-based and you might miss the sensation of cooking, then creating amazing delicious recipes can be super, super helpful. It can also be super helpful for people who are used to eating junk food or used to eating more like pizza or something, to recreate delicious recipes, just a healthier version of it, a raw vegan version of it. So I think it's definitely, for most people, not for all, some people always prefer to eat simple, but for most people, it definitely can help a lot to create delicious recipes and to learn how to create delicious recipes. And that's why I think the bundle is so amazing because you can get so many delicious recipes from the bundle for a super, 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 super cheap price. So yeah, I'm super fascinated and happy to be in the bundle.
Let me ask, what are some of the books that you've bought over the years? Like, did you? I've certainly bought a few books and really got a lot out of them. What what stuff? Because I think something like with the hippie thing, some people think, well, I can just do this diet. I don't really need to learn about it. I'll just work it out. If I'm meant to eat fruit, I'll just figure it all out. And I never found that to be the case. I needed a lot of advice. I watched a lot of videos, but I also bought the books. I went to events, and that's what really helped me. But do you think that what books did you enjoy when you were sort of learning more about this?
I think that's an amazing question. So for me, my all-time favorite book is The 8 to 10 Diet. I actually have it here. Like I went to the Canary Islands, but I just love this book so much because there's so much complexity, and this book manages to really break it down super easily. So I just love this book, and I'm pretty grateful that I read it right in the beginning because for me, it's just the way that I love to eat, like 80% carbs, 10% protein, 10% fat, or like around that. And I'm a huge fan. I also am a huge fan of Doug Graham because I think what he does is remarkable, or it's really, he's helping so many people, which is really cool. Other books that I really love, and I read some month or years ago, was from Arnold Ehret, like the
Mm.
mucus diet healing system, because I was super interested in healing and how diet affects your body and how you can prevent or maybe even reverse disease with a change in your lifestyle and the way you eat. So that I also read Robert Morse's book. It was like, I think it was really interesting. Like, I'm not so much, I don't maybe believe in his texture, no, tinctures and herbs and all of that, but what he wrote about detox was really, really interesting. And yes, and the rest were just more recipe ebooks because I wanted to learn. But yeah, but also there's one book in the Raw Vegan bundle. It's called Fruit Can Save Your Ass by, I forgot his name, but it's a
Petr Cech.
fantastic book.
Petr Cech.
Yeah, I did not read it completely because it's 200 pages or something, but he
Oh
really
wow!
goes into, or yeah, it's a super big book, I think, but,
I've
or
just opened it up.
180 pages. Hmm?
Yeah, I've just opened it, and I was wondering
Oh
if
yeah,
it was quite. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was. Oh yeah,
I love
it's
it.
250 pages.
It's crazy, but I read like some chapters of it, and I'm a huge fan because he really describes and goes into so much detail also about the terrain theory and germ theory, which I think is now with this whole crisis super, super interesting and funny to learn about. And yeah, I think with his book, he did so much research and he put, for me, like so many years of wisdom and knowledge into that book. So I really appreciate the book. I will read it now. I didn't have time, but once this bundle is like over, I will definitely read it and really, yeah, just read everything. So I definitely believe that reading books is super, super important if you want to make it work because, yeah, because if not, then I think if you don't inform yourself and you have maybe family or friends who don't believe that a raw vegan diet or fruit-based diet is that helpful or is good for you, and you don't have done so much research, you are super shake, like people can just shake you and then you fall and then you stop eating fruit-based. But if you do a lot of research, you really become like a tree with a lot of roots, and if there's a wind or a storm, you still stand strong. So that's why I think reading books and informing yourself is super, super important. Mm.
Yeah, I mean, even that book. I mean, I'm looking forward to reading that. I've followed Peter for years, and I went to his festival years ago, and I know that he's another long-term raw vegan. And once again, he's the kind of guy you wouldn't call him a hippie, but he does have maybe a little bit of that in him as well. But he's a very, down to earth, smart guy, a great guy to be around. And this book looks tremendous, so I'm going to really enjoy that as part of the bundle. And yeah, there's so much. There's a lot of. That's a surprise to me. I didn't realize it was so substantial, that book. So I'm going to look forward to that. Um, Eva, what are your sort of plans going forward? Like, what are you up to these days, and what are your dreams and goals for your life?
Cool, great question. So right now I still go to university, but it's online. So my courses are online. So that's why I was escaping to the Canary Islands. I also work online for a startup, which is about like vegan meat alternative products, which is really nice. And yeah, but my biggest goal is actually to create my own company and to maybe create an academy where I help people to go from eating junk food to eating fruit-based vegan. So that's really my biggest goal. And apart from that, I would love to work online, of course, and to live in different countries, like, for example, Canary Islands. But I would also really love to go to Asia if Asia opens again. That would be super interesting. And also South America, because, yeah, my Spanish is getting better. So I feel like I can do it. And yeah, I think that's my goals for the future or for the next years.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. Um, well, yeah, I mean, I think that these are kind of the goals that I think quite a lot of people have, that idea of, and people come into this diet and lifestyle, and they realize that they can improve their health, they have that ability to change their diet, change their health, and then they also realize that they can change their life and they can really live the kind of life they want and make the contribution they want to make. And we all realize how powerful this is, and we want to pass it on to others. So I think we all have that kind of passion for it.
For sure, there was, I think Doug Graham. I watched a video about Doug Graham, and he said it's true, like there are not so many people who are doing this lifestyle, unfortunately, but those who started it, they become super passionate about it and created festivals and books and courses because they wanted to share the amazing benefits of it. Yeah, and this happened for me. I personally believe it's really a blessing to understand the connection between disease and the food we eat and to really become conscious about it. And I think once you have that consciousness, you basically you have to share it. And yeah, because it could, I believe it's a huge thing and it can help so many people. It could even like change society in a big way. So yeah, and that's really what drives me, I think.
Really cool, Eva. Well, thank you for joining me today. Is there anything else you'd like to go over? Do you want to talk a little bit more about the bundle or anything else?
I would just maybe, but I don't know how much time you have to just give some practical
Yeah,
advice
sure.
on how to implement a raw vegan diet if you're stressed, like if you're going to school or you go to university or you have like a stressful job. Maybe.
For sure. Yeah, let's go over that. So, yeah, how would you help someone plan out their diet?
I would definitely say it's important to plan because for me, if I'm with a group of friends who don't eat fruit-based, they don't really eat so much. For example, especially women or girls who are skinny, they eat maybe for breakfast a tiny slice of bread and then more bread or something. So they eat very little. So if you want to make a fruit-based diet work, you have to plan and schedule times like especially for you to eat. So make time to eat because when you're fruit-based or raw vegan, you eat a lot more volume. So making sure that you eat enough is super, super important. What I also can recommend and what I did when I was working in a bakery like 12 hours or something, what really helped me was making smoothies with a lot of bananas just and dates. Just put all the calories in the smoothies because that really helps because you don't spend so much time drinking the smoothie and yeah, you can just work more. So smoothies are a big game changer and that really can help. And yeah, and always take your food with you because for me, when I went fruit-based or vegan in school and university, usually they don't provide real options for you to eat because they maybe have, yeah, they don't provide anything. So just take the food with you and yeah, that would be definitely some recommendations that I have.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much, Eva, for joining me. And yeah, I unfortunately I have to go and do a few things, but it's been really good to talk to you, and I'd love to interview you maybe longer some point.
Sure, I would love to, and thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Speak to you all soon, and everyone check out the bundle. You can find it in Eva's link, in my bio link as well. And we're both very proud to be part of it, and we think it's a wonderful thing to get. So thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.